sharpest edges of everything.
What is up, knife community? This is Blade Love coming at you from the Sharpest Edge, and you are with me in the man cave. What an incredible response I am getting from the knife community regarding some help I requested for future topics and subjects. I'm overwhelmed between Facebook, Instagram, Vero, and of course YouTube. I got my top 2 from YouTube already, and I can't wait to show you this next set of questions. But before I do, I want to just thank you all very much for all your support and your help with my project. As I said before, when I started going landscape, it changed my whole perspective on videos, and it's given me some great ideas and opportunities to enhance my content and channel. So let's check out the questions I received from YouTube, and we'll follow up in a moment. So Original Atomic Punk asked me about my first knife, who got me into knives, and such. That is my first video I'm going to do because that is a really cool topic. So that one I am starting now as we speak. The second question was from Rich Huff, and he requested an instructional video on sharpening serrations on blades, which is kind of funny because I just got done with one of my knives and touched up my serrations. So that should be very cool. So definitely going to work on that one as my second. So those are my top 2 right now, and I'm going to be sorting through the other questions and comments. So I'm stoked. So thank you all so very much. So let's get on with the first question from Atomic Punk, Original Atomic Punk.
To the eastern sand, by sword, by gun, or by bare hand. The eagle born to those who pledged their lives.
Steel Rain, this is Raptor. Adjust fire, system aided, over.
Raptor, this is Steel Rain. Adjust fire, system aided, out.
10-digit grid, November uniform, 673-12-09571, over.
10-digit grid, November uniform.
So those knives from the video are my office display knives, but here are some of the ones that I actually hold back for carry, and I classify them as EDC, rotational carry, and such. So here they are. So these boxes are from my rotational carry. Then I have my switch out carry down here. I have some fixed switch out carry up here, foldables in the drawers, more foldables in the drawers, more foldables in the drawers, some switch out carry, and my immediate carry box that I switch out every day. And then more fixed blades, fixed blades, fixed blades, and fixed blades. So that section you just saw was the area that I switch out knives from weekly to monthly to quarterly. And that's how I do it. Then I have knives in my safes, which switch out from there to that portion of my carry gear. And then I have boxes downstairs in controlled environment to bring to the safe, yet to be processed from my business and my home when I moved. So it's a very, very large, complex collection, and I'm still working on it to bring it back to life. But it's a lot of fun. So you asked me about my very first knife. My very first knife was actually a Cub Scout knife, and it was actually lost or stolen. So believe it or not, there was a place called Fifth Street Army and Navy where I live. A salesman named Jim Cotter who actually basically sold me on a buck 184. So my mother, knowing how much I loved knives at the time, and me growing up in a military family, decided to get me this buck 184. So that replaced that knife as my first knife. But my first official knife was actually belonging to my father, and that's this one right here. This one was actually mine before I was even born, because when my father passed at a very young age, this was one of the knives that my mother had passed down to me from him, and it's an old marbles. Pretty sure it's marbles, if I recall. Yep, it's the old marbles. And this knife comes with a funny story, actually, because my father was an architect and he also did surveying. And this knife he would always take with him out in the field. And what ended up happening was, one time he was surveying a specific farm area, and he went into a field, not realizing that this field was still active with, what else? Bulls. And he was deep into the field surveying, and he noticed of a big bull looking at him. And when they locked eyes, he started to run after him. My dad beelined over the fence and made it safely to the other side. So something I couldn't even imagine, just locking eyes with a bull, and let alone running through that field and getting away from it out the other side of the fence. So something I definitely wouldn't want to experience myself, especially now, because I can't run for crap. But let's see. So that was the first. Who got me into knives? Well, growing up into a military family, I was always interested in knives and guns. But I would have to say my own mother got me interested in knives. She let me explore the gun shows and knife shows, and my uncle, of course, he got me into it, and then of course Jim Cotter at Army and Navy got me into knives and guns. So it was a lot of people. I would say a lot of people in the knife and gun community really just kept fanning the flames of the interest. So that's where it came from. It comes from friends, family. It starts off very small, and you don't even notice it until it bites, and then you think, well, I have one knife. What can I do with another one? And then another one comes, and ooh, that one came out. And then you're swearing to yourself that you're not going to buy another knife, and then you say, oh, look, another knife. So that's how it begins. It just innocently begins. My favorite knife? I have two, actually. The Ontario Knives USN Navy knife is my favorite fixed blade carry knife. Definitely my favorite. My second favorite, if not right on the same level, is my K-Bar Red Space U.S. Marine Corps knife. Definitely my two favorites. So that's basically a brief look at my collection, giving you the history. Really good, thought-provoking question. But knife collecting is something that sometimes you intend to get into, other times you don't mean to get into it, but it just happens. For me, I just was totally sucked in at the very beginning, because when I started out in Scouts and had my little pocket knife and moved up to a buck 184, and then it was over for me at that point. Then Jim Cotter took me shooting, and my uncle and military life just naturally just all knotted together and made it into what I do today. So I hope that answered your question. And thank you again, my friend. That was an awesome, awesome question. And I really appreciate it. I'll be back with a few thoughts in a moment. I have to definitely say one of the things I enjoy most about knife and gun collecting is the communities that it's just so diverse, and people are willing to step up and help and support and talk about specific guns, specific knives. Um, it's such a wealth of knowledge out there. It's unbelievable. And it was never more apparent to me than when I just asked for a couple ideas, and boom, out of nowhere, people come up with these great ideas. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you, Atomic Punk, the original. Not just Atomic Punk, the original Atomic Punk. I love that name, dude. I'm sorry, but it's cool. So, anyhow, thank you so very much, my friend, again. And everyone out there, thank you for all your help, and keep them coming. It's fantastic. So, for now, this has been Blade Love from the Sharpest Edge. Thank you for joining me in the Man Cave, and always remember, be good to yourself, but much more importantly, be good to one another. Out for now.
You got the sharpest edges